Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Usually I just zone out when that's going on, but isn't it bizarre to, like, you hear his voice and you look over there and his lips aren't moving? It's crazy.
I'm most excited about the enlightenment.
You should be excited. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I told you, I said, if the stars aligned and the dominoes all fell in place, that today we would have Jacob Herman from Century Arms on the radio with us. And guess what? The stars aligned, and it actually happened.
They did.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, Jacob's
first time ever.
We rearranged things.
We haven't had you in on the phone?
Didn't we have you?
I thought we had it on the phone.
Didn't you have your phone
Maybe.
in? Yeah, well, I know we did.
I mean, but how long have we been sponsoring you guys?
Like,
long time.
Yeah, several years.
We've been
3
sending
years.
you guns for years, though.
Yeah.
And no one's ever came. There have been, like, sponsors come and go. And
Yeah. No, I've been friends with the Century Arms people since like the 99 or 2000 or Steve was back in the old days when American money bought a whole lot of Soviet bloc surplus, when you could go to a factory in some Slovakian country with some American pesos
and traded the magic beans
and just like get crates when they used to buy Connex boxes full of things, just like we're not, a former Czechoslovakian general be like, hey, I've got some Connex boxes.
Well, they weren't really full communists, though. Yeah. The Czechoslovakians.
The Czech. I know they're not Czechoslovakian.
What do you call someone from Belarus?
Belarusian.
Is it really?
Yeah, Belarusian.
Weren't we just having this conversation about something else?
Oh, the Czechs. I see. I'm old school Cold War, and when I was in the Marine Corps, we were fighting the Soviet Union and the USSR. So I say Czechoslovakia. What did you just get a text from somebody?
I can't.
Remember, we're family friendly.
I know.
All right, we're family friendly. Anyway, so it is. I know it's the Czech Republic now, but the Czechs always have been kind of on their own, and the Yugoslavs have been kind of on their own. But let's face it, when the Soviet Union fell, they wanted cash, and way back when the American dineros were worth something before the Obama administration devalued the dollar, and we could. People said, like I got one for you. Remember when the wooden stock set-me rifles were coming in? Do you remember that? And I walked into my gun shop up in Ohio at the time. Walked into my gun shop. They had one on the shelf for like $349.
Well, there's also a different reason for that, though. It's not just the devaluation of the American dollar. There was a change in ATF policy that regarded sporting purpose. Mm-hmm. And so years and years ago, we were just on the phone about this today. This is something we're hoping to change to bring more price-conscious rifles back to the American shooter, is that 15 years ago when we would bring in a Century, would bring in a set-me or a AK rifle that was formerly used overseas, right? So we'd bring in a set-me, and we could use that original barrel as part of the kit. And so now the ATF has ruled that those barrels have to be new U.S. barrels.
Because they're military-style barrels from
even though it's a semi-automatic rifle, right?
Those are dangerous barrels.
So we can't use those barrels. So that's what drives up your cost, right? So you can just think, hey, $100 for the barrel plus the installation cost.
All the pieces
on every gun.
On every gun.
Right? So that $399 set-me's now, we've done some changes. It's C308 now. Mm-hmm.
C3PO?
C3PO.
Now we're
but it's
live.
still really reasonable. It's like $799, right? Mm-hmm. So when you add $120 HK style barrel and installation, rewelding it, it's mostly the barrel cost. Thank you,
ATF, for boning the American public.
Right.
It's just another way that they could and people.
What's she holding in front of the camera?
Oh, was it a sign?
It's a message.
Oh, it's a message.
You have really good handwriting.
Uh-huh.
Well, you have really good handwriting.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead. Right? We're going to take a moment for a public service announcement.
PSA.
Yes, a PSA. Now, we've spoken to this subject many times before, but I'm going to speak to it again today. Right now, the crybabies and the spoiled toddlers of America are losing their minds, and they're having public tantrums. And, of course, the left-wing media is... Put that down. You need to set that down.
Take his phone.
I was trying to live stream our live stream.
If you live stream the live stream, we'll go back in time, and we can't do that. Oh, the crybabies of America are throwing public temper tantrums in front of the news cameras, and they're throwing those in front of the news cameras so that they can record it and show your senators and congressmen, look, all these Americans don't want the change. They don't. Yes, we do want the change. But what do we know about traditional politicians? Traditional Republican politicians have been the losers and the minority for so long, and they're so scared that CNN isn't going to like them, or the news isn't going to like them, or whatever. So this is what I did today. Before we started the show, I went and I sent emails to my 2 senators and the U.S. House of Representatives rep.
We have
for
2
where we
senators
live.
for our
2
state?
senators for each state. I know you're like, what? How did that happen? And it took me a grand total between going to their websites, clicking the email me, sending the emails out, and being done. I was done in 15 minutes.
Also, the petition to repeal the NFA.
Yes, the petition to repeal
Every
the
gun
NFA.
owner should go sign that on the White House website. Period.
Yes.
That's on our Facebook page.
Yeah, on the Facebook, on the internet. Like, if you are a gun owner and you're on social media, you've seen this. It takes literally 45 seconds.
Yeah, it takes no time at all.
And there's all kinds of interesting petitions on there, like charge Hillary Clinton with treason, repeal the Hughes Amendment. You can sign all this stuff all day long. And, it's like instant American gratification.
And what I did, look, if you guys want to write a manifesto, that's cool. But I can tell you this, from somebody that gets lots of emails, if I get an email and it's 47 paragraphs long,
not going to read it.
I'm not going to read it. It's just like if you hand someone a resume that's 5 pages long, that's going to the bottom of the stack. It's never going to get read.
I worked at ILA, right? For NRA.
Oh,
Institute
for Legislative Action.
And then I was an intern for Congressman Marsha Blackburn, who's extremely pro-gun and awesome all the way around in Tennessee. And a little trick to writing letters to your congressman is you write it on a letter.
Like an actual letter.
Like a letter.
Yeah.
There's 2 reasons for this. One, it really, if they like you and you're in a bill that they support, they really like that. Because then they're like, look at all these letters we got.
I have actual letters from people
and
telling me.
And you put, please reply. Your reply is requested at the bottom. And there's a form on the NRA ILA website. There's a form that tells you how to do this. Fill it out just like that. Put your name on it. Put a letter on it. It's like 45 cents. Like one round.
Wow.
A 45 automatic. However much a stamp is now, right? Like the price of a stamp's tied to a round of $2.23.
I think it's like,
Isn't that how
I think
that
it's
works?
like I think stamps today are $1.98.
It's tied to the round.
Whatever.
The price of a $2.23.
The price of a $2.23 round.
Actually,
if you
stamps are more expensive than practice $2.23 now.
What about 45 ACP?
I don't know. Does it have
God's caliber.
the stuff with the hole in the middle? If it's the stuff with the hole in the middle, it might be a little.
I've been shooting 44 special. But back to the original. If you put reply requested, that somebody in that office has to sit down and write a reply. And so there's 2 folds to that. One, you have this little piece of paper that your congressman loves America, right? Or if your elected official is not
a communist,
not a fan of freedom-loving, law-abiding Americans' rights, then that means that not only did you write a letter that cost 45 cents or whatever, that means that congressman's staff has to take the time to reply to your letter. They put a stamp on it, which comes out of their office budget. So if you got to think, if 10,000 people a day wrote an anti-gun congressman, they have to reply to every one of those. If you put reply requested, like it's like their thing, right? Because there's all these staffers.
Yeah.
That means they're going to have all these staff just taking up all their time.
Writing letters to you to appease the barbarians who think that people should have guns.
So
with high
write a letter.
clips.
Writing an email to your congressman is like a cop out.
Yeah.
You should write a letter.
All right,
I
you
didn't
write a
know
letter.
all that stuff. That's pretty
Now,
because they get it in the mail bags, right? Like they deliver it to their office. If 1 million gun owners wrote Dianne Feinstein today and put it in the mail today, they would find a way to deliver it to that woman's office. Nice. Because the mail department at the Capitol doesn't care, right? Like there's a postman, he works at the Capitol building, you're taking your mail.
Or if you're a postman, like the videos, you just go dump it in the river.
If you mail it, those guys at the Capitol building, you're taking it in your office. Like you will take your mail.
Well, I can tell you this. Now, we have our 3 guys in Mississippi are good. Okay, and every time I've contacted them, they have all sent me back replies. I mean, it's not immediately,
right, but
I will get a reply back from every single one of them.
Yeah, right? Well, pro gun, you don't want to send them a letter, right? Because then that takes away from the good fight. But the anti-gun ones always send a letter to you, like an actual letter. So if you're going to, this is what I did. I sent emails to both senators and my congressmen, and I kept it simple. I said, number one, we gave you the power. We did. We gave them all three houses, right? They got the Senate, they got the House, they got the presidency. We gave you the power. We are paying attention. Repeal Obamacare, now. Respectfully yours, Paul Markle.
Now.
And here's the thing. If I think 2 sentences, we put you in power. They need to be reminded because they're so used to being losers. They are so used to making excuses. They are so used to that. Is the reason Donald Trump is the president today is because in 2012 we gave them the power, except for the presidency. We gave them everything else, and what did they do? They went. They're like, well, we were going to repeal Obamacare, but it's really hard and it's really tough and blah 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 blah. Excuse. No more excuses.
So what did the letter say? It was only 2 sentences.
It was, we gave you the power.
Right.
We are paying attention. Repeal Obamacare, now.
So a more effective letter.
All right, go ahead.
The more effective
letter
give you an would have been, hi, my name is Paul Markle from wherever, and I'm a voter in the whatever district you're in, right? I'm a registered voter in whatever district you're in. I respectfully ask that you vote to repeal Obamacare. Your reply is on this issue, right? Because then if you don't tell them that you're a voter in their district, they don't care.
Yeah, right. The 3 bullet points. Well, and the thing is, if you use their direct email, you have to put in your physical address.
Yeah.
So they know by the time it opens, like, this guy is from Biloxi.
But if you're writing a letter,
this guy's from Biloxi, and so he's in my district.
I always put that you're a voter, though. I vote.
Your bullet points are remind them that we gave them the power for a reason, that you are paying attention, because what can we not survive with? We can't survive. I feel like I should look at the camera, but I don't need to.
No, you need to look at the microphone.
We cannot survive another 4 years if we do the same thing we've been doing.
I mean,
if we
I don't
just
think
vote
we're doing
for
the
Trump
same thing we've been doing.
And then check out and say, okay, my civic duty's done. I did my civic duty on November 8th. Now I'm going to check out for 4 years. You can't check out for 4 years.
It's just
you have to pay it. You have to stay in it, because you know who's not going to check out? The tantrum throwing crybabies, the socialist, babies, the people who are begging for more big government, the people who benefit from big government. They're not going to check out because they don't want to lose the power. So they're going to be throwing tantrums and doing what they do. And you think, well, we got Trump in, man, I'm good. I'm going to check out. I'm going to go fishing for 4 years.
A lot of gun owners are apathetic.
Yeah, I'm going to go fishing for 4 years, and I'll be back in 2020 to vote again. Dudes, we can't do it. You've got to stay active. You have to let these guys know in no uncertain terms that, look, we are going to continue to pay attention. We are going to hold your feet to the fire. We are going to watch you, because there's short of like armed revolution, we did everything we could possibly do to stop the socialist push of the last 8 years. We've had a hardcore socialist push, big government socialism at every spectrum of the government for 8 years. And short of a serious armed revolt, we did everything we could do. We're like, okay, we took away the power from the Democrats in the House, took it away in the Senate, took it away in the White House. We made sure that the communists aren't going to put the next 2 Supreme Court justices on. And in the next 4 years, probably at least 1 or 2 of them are going to kick off or retire.
There's already a new pick.
Yeah, they're already talking.
There's already a new pick, yeah.
But he hasn't announced it. At least right
somebody's pro-gun. I mean, the ILA spent $40 million on this guy. He's kids. I mean, have you met Don Jr.?
Yeah, we talked about that.
They reload. I mean, they're hunters. They're pro Second Amendment. And
we met them at the 2015 NRA in Nashville. Remember when he spoke in Nashville? I had our buddy Dave Biggers on the phone. I said, Dave, I'm standing right here in the hallway with Eric and Don Jr. I said,
where's Dave working at now?
Dave's working for Lone Wolf.
Okay, Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man. He's in Idaho working for Lone Wolf.
I was at the Professional Outdoor Media Association, and I was that's an organization for outdoor writers and I'm kind of on the fringe, right? Manufacturers and writers and bloggers and people that do a lot of really awesome stuff. There was fly fishing guys there, and it was a conglomerate of outdoor people that was we're trying to reach out, right? Because AKs are for everybody. Mm-hmm. And we got the opportunity to hear Zinke speak. That was now the new Secretary of Interior. At the time, he was a congressman. And this guy's a hunter, right? He's a believer. He's a former or a Navy SEAL, right? And I believe his rank was commander when he retired and went into public service. Are you Googling that to see what?
I can for you.
Yeah.
Do you know how do you spell his last name?
Zinke. And we heard this guy speak, and he's awesome. And he was awesome as a congressman, right? He's like, I love hunting. I do all these things. I cook my own beef jerky. I take my kids hunting, families that hunt together and shoot together, stay together, and this really great message. And now he's our Secretary of Interior. I mean, huge positive changes, not only for, the upside of that is you have somebody that lives in the West, right? Mm-hmm. That really gets the land use, water use, BLM land, but is also one of our people. He's a hunter. He's a vet. He's an American.
Yeah, commander. Right? SEAL Team 6 commander.
SEAL Team 6 commander, and now he's Secretary of the Interior.
Yeah, rock on.
Rock on.
And the other,
was because of Don and Eric.
We got a SEAL and two Marine Corps generals on the cabinet right now. Now, where was I going to go with that?
Your notes. You were supposed to have.
I've got show notes. No, sir, but no. When you mentioned that, we mentioned previously. I don't know if it was last week or how important it is that people are like, cabinet positions, I don't care about that. It is important because the people below them are going to follow the leader. And if the leader is a socialist, puke-faced scumbag like we've had for the last 8 years, then the people underneath them are going to be socialist, puke-bags, scumbags.
It does matter, and it does affect, and I think it affects gun owners in a way they don't realize it affects them, right? So when you talk about, what does Zinke have to do with, or, I guess now that we're supporting people on our side, Secretary Zinke has to do with us is, he's Interior, right? So that's who makes the BLM rules, mm-hmm. which is how good Americans, law-abiding Americans, can use their public space. Under the former, that wasn't really accepted to hunt and fish and camp and take your kids out shooting.
Oh, yeah, all the restrictions,
right? And so now we have somebody that respects our rights as Americans to hunt, fish, camp.
Maybe the people can get their land back, and it no longer will be the king's land.
Right.
That's what we've had for the last 8 years.
Right.
It's like that part belongs to the king, and thou must receive permission from the king before thou wast allowed to use it.
You know that we tried to import, Century has been in a deal for years now where we're trying to bring back Garands, which are really collectors.
From Korea.
From Korea. They were U.S. rifles made at the end of World War II, and we sent them to Korea to help the good Koreans battle communism and protect their freedoms from communists, right? When you had a fledgling nation that was, it was Korea, and there was North and South Korea, and we've been trying to get those back for years, and that fell on Secretary of State and the different secretaries. So these appointments do have an effect on gun owners. And it should matter who we're putting in, and we want people that I would like to buy another Garand.
Well,
right?
When I was a kid, you guys are only about 5 years apart, I think.
How old are you?
27.
How old are you? Check your driver's license. Take your shoes off.
33.
You're 33.
I was 32 years
Okay, so you guys are only 6 years apart. Now, when I was 17, 18 years old, that is the time when you could walk into almost any gun shop in America, and they had wooden barrels of surplus M1 carbines for $99. And guys would come through and they would pick through them, look for Rockolas and look for, Singer sewing machine and Xerox and all that. And then very similar thing with Garands. When I was 18, I could have bought a Garand for $200. I could have bought a World War II surplus.
That was in the 50s, right?
No, it wasn't in the 50s. It was in the 80s, in the 1980s. And then in the 1990s, they dried up. And then the M1 carbines became collector's items. And so now a carbine that when I was in 1985, I could have bought for $99 is now $1,300 because it's a collector's item and we're not getting any more. And you either pay the $1,300 or you don't get it. And that just sucks to be you.
A lot of those guns were also just chewed up, right? Like that was kind of like,
well, that's why they would put them out. And it was like buyer's choice. You just sorted through and.
Yeah. And there's no telling how many millions of guns are just stuffed places. It's kind of like Moe's and the Guns, right? They were $39.99, they were $49.99, and people just kept buying them. I mean, there's millions of these things, but you don't see millions of them for sale.
No,
people just sit on them.
Well,
it's like the Grands. There's people that have. You see these guys that pass away, their gun collection gets sold, and it's like. They had 90 Grands.
Yeah.
Or
90 M1 carbines. And they don't get rid of them. They just
sit on them.
They just sit on them. Try and find a used J-frame. Not a compact revolver, but an actual Smith & Wesson J-frame used. It's almost impossible.
Speaking of revolvers.
Because people just sit on them. They're in sock drawers and on shelves all over America.
Because I'm a faithful follower of James Yeager. I have been carrying an original Colt detective with a factory shroud.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Super nice gun from the 60s. And I've got 4 rounds of lead round nose and 1 wad cutter and 1 hollow point of dubious origin.
I know we have some Camden Mafia watching right now. Let's get Yeager in here.
Of dubious origin.
Is he still in jail?
No, I think they let him out of jail.
Is he in Facebook jail?
Yeah, they let him out of
Was he in
jail.
Facebook jail?
I figured you were in Facebook jail.
I got off of
you
Facebook.
voluntarily
I got a voluntarily
let go of
Facebook.
it.
He found himself and he wasn't on Facebook.
It took up too much of my time. Yeah. And I could be doing better things like Instagramming.
There you go. Exactly.
By the way, follow me on Instagram.
So you
R.
can
Jacob
Instagram
Herman.
to your Facebook.
You can R. Jacob
I had to get off the Facebook. It took up too much time and it triggered me. It was no longer a safe space for me.
No safe space. Okay.
All right. A great example.
I understand, dude. Too many stupid people on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook is Instagram people, right? We post the same picture. I'll send a picture to Zach, I don't post anything. I send it to Zach, and he puts it where it needs to go. So I'll send a picture to Zach, and he'll put the same picture on Instagram is on Facebook. People on Instagram will like thumbs up, little clappy hands, like it, awesome, one word. People on Facebook, they like write you a whole manifesto about what's wrong with the photo. Like they take time out of their day to tell you how dangerous that photo is and how that photo shows that you hate babies and you didn't.
Yeah, I just got off Facebook.
You didn't love your
easier.
Grandmother and it's
but
like.
You know what I have been doing instead of Facebooking time?
What?
Right.
Snapchat.
No, I can't get into Snapchat either. I tell you what I have been doing. I have been watching bushcrafting videos on the English guys because they're really good at it. They've been doing it a long time. And instead of sitting on Facebook for an hour, I watch bushcraft videos and learn how to start fires with a stick and live in a hut. And it's a lot. If you take that time, if you got off Facebook, right? Because I know you guys have a business, right? But we have a business Facebook. Century
right.
has
You have a business, but you don't need your own personal.
And Dina, it's a stellar job at doing that, right? Like Dina is like the Facebook guru. And so I watch bushcrafting videos and try to learn things. And I've been reading the Fall and Decline of the Roman Empire, fairly lengthy novel. Actually 3, I think it's 19,000 pages long or something.
That's a lot. And
I've been reading the last 3, it's called The Last Lion, the 3-book trilogy of Winston Churchill's life. And if there's amazing what all you can get done when you're on Facebook.
The Last Lion, was it that?
It's called The Last Lion. You can look, they're pretty big. We're talking 3 books that are like on the little Kindle, like you look down and it's like, oh, you were on 1190 of 19,000.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't know if that's based on the size.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah. But before we get any farther into it, we're about 24 minutes in now. I think it's time for me to take a break and to acknowledge and thank our sponsors. How long is the show?
Yeah.
It's going to be about 44 minutes.
Yes.
So, all right. Thank you to Brownells at brownells.com. And if you want a gun, ammo, scopes, Century guns,
Parts.
And after I thank everyone, we're going to come back and I'm going to talk about your trip out there. Well, what we can talk about. But go to brownells.com and pretty much if you're a gun guy, they have anything that you need. Even if you're not a gun guy, you can become one by
They
going
have
to
prepper
Brownells.
stuff.
Prepper
Bushcrafting
That's
supplies.
right.
They have water.
Yeah, you can even order cases of water and food from them, so you don't even have to buy a gun. Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms maker in the U.S. of A. Check them out at centuryarms.com. Duracoat, because life is too short to have an ugly gun. You can get Duracoat products from Brownells, or you can go to Lauer Weaponry. And, can I do that right now?
Open that right now.
All right.
We have a package.
I have a package.
And it's going to happen live. So if you're not watching live, then that means you're not paying attention to our Facebook.
So if you're watching the Facebook live right now, this is what's going to happen. I have a package here. It says Duracoat on it. I have not opened it. I just opened up my knife.
And while he's doing that, I'm going to let you guys know that if you are watching live, we're going to open up at the end. We're going to open this up for questions for Jacob from Century Arms. So if you have any questions, hold them to the end. And I'm actually over here looking at the Facebook.
Are we
feed,
going live? I love live questions. That was my favorite part about being a radio DJ.
That's crazy.
Oh, check it out. I was not expecting this. I asked...
Puzzle pieces?
No, they're stickers. No, I asked Amy at the show. I said, hey, we'd like to... These are really cool, colorful stickers. And I said, if you have any extra stickers... if we could get some, we'll give them away in every single physical order that we send out from our store.
Yep.
And so she did it. So there you guys go. So that was actually not something for me. It's something for you guys. So until we run out, every single physical package.
James is watching.
Every single physical package that goes out of the Student of the Gun store is going to have a Duracoat stickers. How cool is that?
Can we put some Canic stickers?
You can do anything. Yeah, we have
send
been.
us some
Dina.
stuff.
Every time Dina sends us swag, Zachary. Here. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret.
Shipping ogre over here.
Zachary, the shipping ogre. He's got a box, and every time we get swag from little keychains or stickers or magnets or whatever from our sponsors, he puts it in there, and when he puts the stuff together, he grabs it out of there, and he keeps doing it until it's gone. So, and you never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know. Some people get. Somebody did he get
Is life like a box of chocolates?
It kind of is. But let's thank our friends from SWAT Fuel. And if you guys would like to have a sharper mind and a stronger body, you can go to SWATfuelstore.com and use the promo code SOTG2015. They've got the 9mm fat burner, the 9mm plus P. They have the 40 cal multivitamin and is it 44 Magnum? It is. 44 Magnum protein powder.
I just got 2 bags
the
of it.
highest quality, best protein powder you're going to get your hands on because they go all the way or no at all. So check them out at SWATfuelstore.com. Save yourself some money. Use a promo code. Frog Lube, you can lube your gun or your sword or your
SF
frog.
Elite that you're
whatever. If you can lube.
They're
lube
awesome.
your
I love
SF
all those
Elite.
guys.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Good.
Shauna, Skipper, all of them are
They're
awesome.
good people at Frog Lube, and they support not only the show, but they support why the show exists. They get it. They get why Student of the Gun exists. So you can get Frog Lube products from Brownells, or you can go to froglube.com, or you can go walk into your local distributor and say, hey, I want some Frog Lube. And lastly, but certainly not leastly in the hit parade, is Crossbreed holsters. I'm wearing a Crossbreed holster right now, and guess what's in it, Jacob?
A Canic.
A TP9 Elite.
That's where it's at.
That's where it's at, right over my right hip right now. I'm sitting in this chair wearing the most comfortable inside of the waistband holster you're ever going to wear. And you can check those guys out at crossbreedholsters.com.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Yes, indeed. And thank you, Miss Alex, for reminding us that today we were at our favorite restaurant in D'Iberville.
Is that how you say it?
D'Iberville, yes. Or,
Siri says at D'Iberville.
Yeah, Siri says, you are traveling to D'Iberville.
I think the entire country pronounces whatever Siri says.
Yeah. But we were over in D'Iberville, and
could you imagine what it's like to be the woman that did Siri's voice?
I think it's just a
The
computer
one in
now.
English or Mandarin Chinese?
Yeah.
They have an English version as well, which I prefer.
And they have an Australian.
I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here.
Yeah, getting off track. Anyway, so we run into people like this constantly. We run into people who say, "Hey, you're like gun people, or you do gun things? Do you guys have like a gun shop?" Like, no, we actually have. This is what we do. And they're like, "Oh, because I'm thinking of buying a gun, or I know someone who's going to get a gun, or whatever."
Stop thinking and do it.
Well, here's what I want to tell you guys, and this ties right into what Alex just said. If you are one of those people, or if you know one of those people, I'm sure that you're the gun person in your life, right? In your sphere of influence, people come to you and they say, "Hey, I'm thinking about, but I don't know why, and I don't know how, and I don't know whatever." There's so much free information at studentofthegun.com. Just go to, that's where you start. That is your starting point. You can listen to the radio episodes, you can watch videos, you can read books, you can read articles, all that stuff, but just go to studentofthegun.com, tell your friends, here, this is easy for you. Just go to studentofthegun.com, and they've got articles, they've got audio, anything. So
Can I write articles on my muzzle-loading pistol?
you can write you can do whatever you want to do. You're an American. You're an American. So, but that is the starting place. Go to studentofthegun.com. Jared recently updated the website, and it is mobile friendly. Dude, does it blow you away when you like open up a website on your phone and it's not mobile friendly to like a major, like a manufacturer or something? You're like, what the farfignugan, dude?
I don't look at things that aren't on Instagram.
Or like on your phone, like if you're like someone says, "Hey, did you hear that such and such has a new product?" and you Google like xyzcompany.com and you bring it up on your phone and it's not a mobile friendly page. It's like super small and you have to like do that and look at it. You're like,
I carry a real phone, which is a Samsung, and it has a big screen, and so you can go to the full website, and it works like a regular computer because I don't have a Mac, which is not as bueno.
yeah.
He's just jealous.
Well, the truth of the matter is, if your website's not mobile friendly, then Google puts you at the bottom.
Yeah.
They throttle you. So you got to be mobile friendly. Just it blows me.
He's speaking Japanese.
We were
got barbarian
nope,
speaking tech geek here.
We were at SHOT Show, and somebody who had a booth there, a big company, and they had something, and I was like, "Oh, quick!" And their website wasn't mobile friendly. It was like real. I thought, dude, come on. I mean, we're this little tiny company, and our crap's mobile friendly. You're like a big gun company. Get your crap together. Speaking of which, how was your show?
SHOT Show?
Yeah.
SHOT Show was awesome. SHOT Show was awesome. I want to give a shout out right quick to Claire Sadler at Gracing the Field in England. It's like my favorite blog ever.
Gracing the Field.
Yeah. So there's these wonderful, awesome ladies that shoot shotguns and hunt all over England, and it's Victoria Knowles Lax.
On the King's Land?
Yeah, at the Chelsea Bun and Shotgun Club.
Chelsea bun.
So
and
the Chelsea bun is apparently like a cinnamon roll, and they eat these things before they shoot the birds.
Huh.
They're like, "Oh, we're gonna have a cinnamon roll."
Did they actually shoot the birds, or did they fire?
Oh, they shoot.
Do
Yeah,
they
do
they fire blanks at them?
Follow
And
the
just
Chelsea. No, so
they murder the
Claire,
birds?
Yeah, they murder the birds. Claire owns a blog called Gracing the Field, and she's really awesome. And Claire and Victoria and I hunted together at the Governor's Ringneck Classic in Kansas, and it was epic. But they are single-handedly growing gun ownership and responsible gun owning in England. So I want to give a shout out to them. Victoria has like 10,000 members in her shotgun club now, and it's all women.
Wow.
It's all new shooters. So it's pretty epic. So shout out to them. But yeah, SHOT Show was awesome.
See, now people are getting mad because you didn't shout out them. So
Yeah, well, they're not English, and I don't watch, I'm obsessed with England.
I don't do shout-outs because I'm not a 13-year-old girl.
Well,
I thank people, and I acknowledge people, and I reference people. But
didn't
I don't
you just
do
tell us
shout-outs.
you were like 19 in 1952?
No.
So SHOT Show was awesome and epic, and all things good in the world happened at SHOT Show.
it was really good this year. I didn't have a bad experience.
No, everybody's in a great mood, right? I mean, everybody's in a fantastic mood.
Everybody in art should be.
AKs are as great as always, right? The market has really accepted the C39 and our AK line, and we've made some great advances on manufacturing, right? You guys have them. They're super accurate. The cool thing about AKs is it used to be you had to hunt an AK to buy. You had to go look to buy an AK.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can buy an AK at a box retailer, right? You can buy an AK at Brownells. You can buy an AK at Cabela's. You can buy an AK at Academy. You can buy AKs at our AKs, right? So I say that more specifically.
your
Century
AK.
Arms,
Century AKs,
a Century AK at the local gun shop. There's a big pawn shop here in Biloxi or Gulfport that
Dad's Super.
Dad's Super Pawn, they're a buyer of ours, right? Mm-hmm. They have Century Arms AKs.
You know where you can't get them? At Dick's, because they are.
But we have a lot of really good partners.
Dick's.
We have a lot of really good partners, such as Cabela's and Academy and Sportsman's Warehouse. Sportsman's Warehouse, that you can go in Sportsman's Warehouse and buy like Sitka gear and like a long range Sendero rifle, like deer cannon, right? Mm-hmm. And you can get a Century Arms AK. It's pretty awesome. So we love those. We love all those guys because it's helping promote. It's mainstreaming.
That's what you said earlier. AKs are for everybody.
AKs are for everybody, and we're really excited about that. We have the
t-shirt.
scope mount out. There was a lot of hate on the scope mount because people don't understand the scope mount. Mm-hmm. So, and I like to speak on the scope mount because our scope mount, the reason we changed it is because it returns to 0, right? And you don't have to file it and mess with it, and you can take it off one and put it on the other. Take it off your RAS and put it on your C39. You can put it on Jared's C39 and your C39, and it generally works just like a mount on an aim point for an M4. You can take it off one, put it on the other, and if you're shooting the same ammo, you're going to be pretty much on the money. But the show was great. If you notice this year that we moved the Canic booth or part of the Canic booth up to the Century booth upstairs because we moved. We got a bigger space because the Canic line's growing. So we moved that as well.
Now, tomorrow our plan is to go out to the range, and we've got range time reserved. We're going to go out. We're going to take the C39 V2 with a red dot mount. They're obviously going to take my pistol, Jared's pistol. I've got SA and SF Elite. Do we have an SF regular?
So there's an SF and an SFT, which is the threaded one with the high Warren sights. And they got sent to some small town in Mississippi, much like I can only imagine that like Jerry Clower lived in at one point. But
there's plenty of those.
But the nice lady at FedEx called, and they're going to bring them to the hotel about 9 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, really? Oh.
So we're going to have the SFT. And all the new Canics. So the SFT, the Elite, they have those new sights by Scott Warren.
Claire is here.
Which are really... Who? Is that
your friend Claire? She
I
said,
thought you
yes,
said-
we do shoot birds.
They do shoot. They shoot like 150 pheasants at a time. Like it's a bunch. They slaughter them. So one of the big exciting things about the Canic line for us is the addition of the Warren tactical sights. And Scott Warren is a really awesome dude, right? Like he's one of our people. Mm-hmm. Like when you think of our people.
Yeah, I've used Warren stuff before,
Yeah.
and I've always had great success with it.
So he and Mike got together and made these awesome sights for this Canic pistol. And, they're probably the best sights you can get from the factory without paying hundreds of dollars more.
Right.
A lot of times you see a pistol and it's like, oh, it has these really base model sights and it's $399. Or you can have these really good sights and they're $599. Mm-hmm. But on the Canics, it's same price.
Now, your MSRP on that is on the Elite. What do you actually MSRP in that thing at?
We just sent an email about this.
You just sent an email about
Just
that?
sent an email about this. I have
Because I've seen it available from various distributors, and all the prices are all different. And I just wondered what the actual MSRP is. It's really inexpensive, and I know that the dealers like Aim Surplus and what's the other one?
I literally had this sent for this show to tell you the current MSRP of the which one?
TP9
SF Elite.
The SF Elite.
Yes.
John Hollister says, it was good to see you at the show. He's
Me?
watching online.
John, you said for me or for
No, Dad.
Not for
Why would he
Me.
want to see you?
I loved Hollister, man. He's a good dude.
Our Silencer Ninja.
He's my silencer.
$459.
Okay, so MSRP is $459, and here's the deal, folks. Everybody who's selling them is beating. Well, if you go to like a Cabela's or a Bass Pro, they're
Right.
going to be $459.99 because that's how they roll down there. But everywhere else, I've seen them. I think it was Aim Surplus had them for $429.99. So
That's below map, so don't say that.
oh I'm sorry.
But it's a great pistol. They come with 2 15-round Metgar mags, right? So the cool things about the Canic, right? So we try to do it all across the line. Is, and you know this, and Jared knows this, but all the listeners know, there's some key differences between a Canic handgun and other handguns on the market. One, all these pistols are in a new facility. They were built for a military program, and just as a byproduct, we started selling them here. So every pistol is guaranteed to shoot NATO accuracy at 60,000 rounds, which is unreal. If you think about this pistol is going to pass a test at 60,000 rounds for accuracy.
Most people never put 60,000 rounds through a gun in their lifetime.
Right. Well, most guns on the market won't shoot that, right? So because our barrels are forged, they're not forged. The slides are forged. The barrels are machined. So like a rifle barrel. Right. And these guys that trick their pistols out and they send it to all these aftermarket places and get these really expensive barrels, those barrels are machined. So our barrels are made just like a rifle barrel. They're very hard, so they last a very long time. And that's an upgrade that you normally don't get in duty handguns because they're made to the lowest common denominator for government bids, right? Mm-hmm. But our handgun has a machined, match grade, button rifle cut barrel in it, which you spend a couple $100 upgrading another brand, X brand.
Right.
Our slides are forged. So all of our slides are our handguns. The whole line of those they're all forged slides. Then they're machined. Then they're parked. They're parkerized. Mm-hmm. And that parkerizing allows the ceramic coating to actually coat and hold to something. Right. So that's why we use now it's got a finish on top of a finish.
The silver finish on the Elite is what?
It's Cerakote over phosphate.
Okay.
So it's a ceramic coating over a parkerized finish.
Okay. And I'm sure that our friends at Duracoat will forgive Jacob for saying that. Let's go ahead and, Jared, move into our quiet time. And I actually have something.
Meet Sid. Sid doesn't text back. Sid does simplify suppressor ownership. Meet Sid, the new interactive kiosk that makes the fingerprinting and paperwork of silencer applications quick, easy, and pain-free. If you're ready to own a silencer, make time to meet Sid, your new buddy in the silencer business. Available at selected Powered by Silencer shop retailers.
No, the reason I'm actually glad that you're here, Jacob, is because we're going to play a little game called It's a Small World After All.
Are we going to talk about the picture that James Yeager just sent us of a picture of us?
No, we're not going to do that.
A picture in a picture.
Is it a meme?
It's like a picture of James.
In a picture? In a picture.
That we're in the picture.
Is it like when you put two mirrors and you look and it just goes forever?
Yeah.
No. A couple of years ago when you had Rick Cicero in the booth at SHOT, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Yeah, Rick, yeah.
And I watched the video and I'm like, holy crap, I knew that dude. I worked with Rick's. I came down here in 2007 to work on a military contract, training the knuckleheads for the Navy, the surface warfare people, and so forth. And that's how I met him. Then he left the contract that we were on and he went overseas and he got blowed up, which will happen. And the last thing I heard from him was like, hey, we know mutual people, and so did you hear Rick got blown up and he's okay, but he's missing 2 limbs and so forth. And time goes by, and then the stabilizing brace comes out, right? The SIG brace and then the Century brace. So the initial, if you guys want to, I know that the world has like exploded in the last 5 years and everyone's gone insane with stabilizing braces, but the original one, the one that broke the mold and like basically turned everything upside down on its head, was the stabilizing wrist brace for the AR, and they sold it to SIG, and SIG called it a SIG brace, and then for the AK
they sold it to us.
Century.
Yeah.
And Rick and people who knew said there was a veteran who was missing an arm and an inventor and designer, and they worked together and they came up with this collaboration called the brace, the wrist stabilizing brace. Mm-hmm. Well, Rick Cicero, the guy I worked with, and before he got blown up, and he's that guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the dude.
I know, he's
that's where
that
it all
dude.
started.
And
yeah.
it's like, holy crap, I worked with that guy way back when, before he got blown up and all that stuff happens. And so I saw Rick at SHOT this year, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And he was in good spirits, and he gave me a card, and he's working with Hava.
Yes,
Yes.
he is working with HAVA.
And if you guys don't know, I put this in the show notes to make sure that everybody in my listening audience is aware of this. HAVA is Honored American Veterans Afield. This is who you should be supporting. Okay, that other charity that's not really a charity, that's a scam to get Americans who don't know any better to give them money so they can have really big offices and 6-figure salaries and drive Cadillacs. That one that you see all the T-shirts people wearing, fornicate them. They're bullcrap. They're not pro-America. They're not pro-gun. And you're a fool. Stop wearing Wounded Warrior Foundation T-shirts. And if it pisses you off, suck it, because I've done my research. Wounded Warrior is not pro-America. They're not pro-military. They are pro-playing on American sympathies to get a whole bunch of money so that they can have a huge multi-million-dollar office complex and people that have 6-figure salaries and drive around in fancy cars because you, the American public, think you're doing a good thing. Stop it. You want to support veterans who got blowed up?
HAVA.
Support HAVA, H-A-V-A. And their freaking
They're a really good organization.
Is honoredveterans.org. Now, what Rick is doing is he has a sub-program. Now, HAVA is kind of like a big group, or it's kind of like a big conglomeration. They take veterans out and they do hunting and they do activities.
They don't have any employees either.
They're all volunteers.
It's all volunteer. Yeah.
And what Rick is doing is he's doing a program called Learn to Shoot Again. And he's working this Learn to Shoot Again program, which is under the umbrella of HAVA, is a program designed to help veterans who've gotten blowed up, because it happens, to get back out there and say, hey, all right, and I've been on the range. Jared and I have been on the range with veterans that, bionic legs, bionic arms, wheelchairs, and so forth. And when you hear people, when people who have 2 good arms and 2 good legs complain about, oh, this is this or this is that, you're like, you know what? I was on the range with a dude who's got like 2 bionic legs and has to use crutches and a wheelchair most of the time, and he wasn't complaining. So what's your excuse? Yeah, exactly. If you got 2 good arms and 2 good legs, and we've got guys that are getting out there and doing it and not complaining,
they have a really awesome articulated chair with tracks that they take guys hunting with.
Yeah, it's like an M60. It's like a tank.
So yeah, it's like a tank of
just like,
chairs. But they are a really good organization. We've done stuff with them in the past. There is a lot of really good organizations that are deserving of financial
support.
There's
Wounded Warrior Foundation is not one of them.
Task Force Dagger, right? There's Navy SEAL Foundation. Special Operations Warfare Foundation, and then there's the HAVA. So it's, HAVA to me has always been really cool because they take guys back out, and it takes a lot of money to move that chair around because it's extraordinarily heavy. I mean, I forget that they told me this thing weighs, but it's got motors and tracks and all this stuff, and so that's a really cool group.
It's like an ATV.
It's like an ATV for chairs.
Like,
and I think Zeiss had something to do with purchasing it or sponsoring it, and I know that there's some guys from Mossberg and SIG involved, and it's really a nonpartisan organization, right? Like it doesn't matter if you shoot a polymer handgun or a steel handgun.
There
so
you
to
go,
speak.
nonpartisan.
Nonpartisan. So they're really awesome, and Rick's a really great guy. We've known him for a while since we've been doing the brace thing, and Rick actually was involved in that AK giveaway at our booth a couple of years ago. So that was a really beautiful thing that happened there. So we know Rick. Rick's a really good dude. And we sent them some Canics for their program through HAVA. So I think Rick's got some 4 or 5 or 6 Canic TP9SFs on that he's using in that shooting program to get vets back out on the range and stuff.
Cool. Jacob, can we hold you over till tomorrow's show?
Yes. Is there a show every day?
Yeah, we do a show every day.
Oh.
Listen to him. Is there a show every day?
This guy.
Yeah, Jacob, we have a show Monday through Thursday.
But are we going to do it at the range?
No, we're going to do another show. But right now we're going to go ahead and put the ending on this show. Jared's going to play the very, very special music.
And we're going to go ahead and leave the live stream running while we're doing this.
But for all of you out there in the regular Student of the Gun Radio listening audience, I want to thank you for joining us today. And remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life. And tomorrow we're going to be back, and our show we're going to talk about why we live in a metal detector world, and we should have more from our friend Jacob Herman from Century Arms. So Don't you miss it.